don't often see road teams laying almost a touchdown on Thursday Night Football, but that appears to be the case in Week 10 when the Seattle Seahawks battle it out against the Arizona Cardinals. The Seahawks opened favored by 5.5 to 6 points. The total opened at 42.5 and has dropped a point in what is expected to be a low-scoring battle between NFC West rivals. Early indications are that we might have a bit of a sharp versus public split in this one, and it's easy to see why public bettors wouldn't want to back the Drew Stanton-led Cardinals. But this is a big number in this spot. The Seahawks are 5-3 straight up, but only 3-5 against the spread on the year. Seattle is 5-3 to the under. The Seahawks were the better team in Week 9 against the Redskins, and in general, a team off of a misleading final score is a team worth backing. Seattle ran up 437 yards to Washington's 244, but Kirk Cousins' 70-yard touchdown drive gave Washington the win. Washington had just 174 yards heading into the final possession of the game. Injuries have not helped particularly on the offensive line, but Russell Wilson is having quite a season. The Seahawks are tied for 8th in yards per play with 5.6, and only 6 teams have turned the ball over less than Seattle. Russell Wilson has completed 62% of his passes with a 17-6 touchdown interception ratio, while having to scramble to keep a lot of plays alive. He has some really good pass catchers in Doug Baldwin, Paul Richardson, Tyler Lockett, and Jimmy Graham, though Graham only has 9.9 yards per reception and hasn't been what the Seahawks fully envisioned. The running game has been bad, as Wilson leads the team in yards and yards per carry this late into the season. He also has one of the team's 2 rushing touchdowns. J.D. McKissick has the other one, but Wilson is the best player on the field. The Legion of Boom defense for the Seahawks is clearly not what it once was. Injuries and attrition have taken a toll over the last 2 years. Earl Thomas missed last week's game and will obviously be questionable on a short week. Cam Chancellor was also questioned last week, so he is not 100%. The Seahawks are right in the middle of the NFL with 5.1 yards per play allowed and have 14 takeaways, but something still feels off about their defense. The Seahawks still rate in the top 10 in adjusted net yards per pass attempt, but they are in the bottom of the league in yards per carry against. It just feels like there are too many holes on both sides of the ball to plug simultaneously. As a result, one side of the ball gets the job done and the other doesn't, and the game becomes a coin flip. Judging by the line, this game is not a coin flip, but neither was last week's when the Seahawks were a 9-point favorite, and that's what the game evolved into. The Arizona Cardinals are 4-4 straight up, but have been a worse bet at 2-6 against the spread, and Arizona is 6-2 to the under. The Drew Stanton experience coming out of the bye week was not really much worse than the Carson Palmer experience any week, but it was very clear what the plan was for Bruce Arians and company. Stanton was 15 of 30 for 201 yards with 2 touchdowns and a pick, but Adrian Peterson ran the ball 37 times for 159 yards. It seems interesting to give Adrian Peterson such a heavy workload with a short week and not much depth at running back position. But the Cardinals had to win that game against the 49ers, and now they can worry about it. Peterson had 37 carries last year in 3 games. That was a career high in carries for the 32-year-old, so it seems like Arizona's biggest hope on offense is going to have to recover quickly from what was an extremely heavy workload. The last time Peterson had 30 carries was way back in 2013. Stanton force-fed the ball to Larry Fitzgerald, who led the team with 9 targets. It seems like the Cardinals are going to be easy for the Seahawks to defend against as long as they can stop the run, which they haven't done that well this season. But with Peterson off to a career high in carries, the task may be a bit easier. The Cardinals' defense is pretty average across the board. The group ranks 15th in yards per play allowed, but has only forced 9 turnovers, including 1 fumble recovery. Throwing on this talented secondary with Patrick Peterson and Tyrann Mathieu continues to be a struggle, and so is running the football. The Cardinals are 4-4 and still within striking distance of the playoffs because of their defense. That's part of the allure in taking the Cardinals given the spread and the total, since it would seem that Arizona can keep this game low scoring. On the other hand, against good passing offenses, with the Eagles, Buccaneers, and Rams, the Cardinals allowed 419, 414, and 425 yards. The only real impressive defensive performance for Arizona came back in Week 3 on Monday Night Football against Dallas, when the Cowboys only had 273 yards and less than 100 yards rushing. Seattle, for all of its warts, still has a potent passing offense with Russell Wilson and his mobility. This game sets up as a pros versus Joes type of split, with the line value on the Arizona side, but the better players and the vastly superior quarterback on the Seattle side. The short week with Seattle's myriad of problems, including 16 penalties and a lack of red zone efficiency in the Redskins game, seems to come at a bad time. Thus, we'll side with the Arizona Cardinals and the 6 points.